Hey everyone, today I want to talk about something that I think a lot of us can relate to, especially those of us on the aromantic or asexual spectrums. It's something that's actually been popping up in my comment sections of my older videos lately, and that's that feeling of your friends starting to drift away from you or starting to deprioritize you when they start getting into romantic relationships. I'll admit I've been through this a number of times myself, and it is tough, but today, I want to share some of the tips that I've learned along the way on how to handle this positively and hopefully maintain those friendships. First of all, I want to validate that feeling. It is completely normal to feel like you're left out or even feel a little hurt when your friends start spending most of their time with a partner. It's something that many people experience, but for those of us on the A spec, it can feel even more isolating sometimes. Sometimes it can be hard when someone you're especially close friends with, especially when it's someone you rely on, isn't as readily available to you. I've been through that myself. It can be hard not to feel like you're less valued than you were before they started that relationship. It can even sometimes test a friendship. But in some cases, I actually learned that the friendship maybe wasn't as strong as I thought it was to begin with. Like, maybe we didn't have those foundational roots that we should have had. We weren't really as close as I thought we were, and it just wasn't there anyway. And in other times, the friend and I still wound up talking fairly regularly because we were able to work it out. But one thing that I did learn, it's up to both of you to find what works. Some of my friends are married, but we still find ways to hang out. Even if it's playing Fortnite a couple nights a week online, I still get time with them, and I still get to talk with them. In some ways, it's not unlike a friend who moves away, which is another natural step for life for a lot of people. But if the friendship has strong and stable roots, those roots will hold in place. So, how do we handle this shift in a healthy, respectful way? Let's dive into a few tips. The first thing that I'd recommend is talking to your friend about how you feel. Oftentimes, they don't even realize that they're unintentionally sidelining you or that you feel left out. Being honest but gentle can really help. Something like, hey, I've noticed we haven't spent as much time together and I miss our hangouts. Something like that can go a long way. It's not about blaming them or guilting them, but rather it's expressing that their friendship is still really important to you. I do this myself every so often. I'd send a simple text to check in from time to time, and yeah, sometimes I will say that I miss them, and I'll let them know that I'm thinking of them. It's not about making them feel guilty, but it's about letting them know that they're in my heart and in my mind, and that our friendship holds value to me. It's also important to manage your expectations. Relationships do take time and attention, and while your friend might not be as readily available as they once were, it doesn't mean that the friendship is over. It's about accepting the dynamic has changed, but that doesn't take away from any of the value of your bond with them. One of my best friends is my college roommate, and then again, he was my roommate after college. We did so many things together, from going to Warp Tour together, to baseball games almost weekly, to road trips. But eventually he met someone, and before too long they were engaged. By the time he popped the question, he and I had gone our separate ways as far as our living arrangement, but we still made an effort to see each other. That didn't change when we moved out of our shared apartment. It just wasn't every day anymore. And that's okay. He still asked me to be the best man in his wedding. I even gave the name suggestion that they ended up picking for their first kid. And even though they recently moved even further away, both he and his wife, who I've also become good friends with, both came out to celebrate my birthday recently. We began as two kids who kinda knew each other in high school, to friends through musical interests and sports interests, to then roommates, to now I consider him my brother. If anything, our friendship became even stronger when I got to be there to watch these moments and share them with him. To me, that's pretty special. Another really strong and healthy way to deal with and handle that feeling of being left behind is to build up your own social circles even more. Relying on one or two friends can make it feel like an even bigger loss when they start to focus on their relationships. And just like our friendships have evolved over time, so do we as people, and the things that we're into, and the groups that we connect with. Diving into your current hobbies and interests, and groups like Discord and other areas online, you can find new friends and build your social network. Nowadays, I have a lot of different friends and groups that I spend time with. I have my friends I grew up with, friends I went to school with, friends I work with, and friends that I do specific activities with. For me, one friend group that I've found in the past few years came together through playing Pokemon Go. Some of them already knew each other, but we would all go to the same area to play. And after a while of walking past each other many times over, I started to walk alongside them instead. I asked to join in raids, I'd bring up topics about the game, and after a while, I fit in with them. And since then, that group has actually added even more people, so now we have about 10 of us. We have our own group chat, we do other activities that some of us are interested in, we go to baseball games and basketball games and concerts. We've had big group dinners in restaurants to celebrate each other's in-game milestones. A while back, we had a level 50 party for my friend Jay when he reached the pinnacle of Pokemon Go. And we have routine meetups for the in-game events every week. It's become a great part of my social life. Finding new groups with shared interests and adding to your own friend groups can be a great way to show love for yourself and to support yourself. Next, try reframing how you see the relationship. Just because your friend is focused on their relationship now, doesn't mean that your friendship is any less important. Sometimes friendships evolve. They may not always be as close as they once were, but they can still be very meaningful. In some cases, with a couple of my feminine friends, their relationship actually affected our friendship in a different direction that allowed us to connect even more than we had before. Some of them have relied on me for more relationship advice when it comes to having a male perspective to talk to. Sometimes it's for things like ideas for an anniversary gift their partner might like, and other times it's been more serious stuff. But either way, it's helped us to grow closer, not further apart. You can also suggest intentional ways to stay connected with your friend. Plan specific hangouts or calls, and be flexible with their timing. You might even consider group activities that include their partner if you feel comfortable doing that. With some of my friends, finding time to all get online to play Fortnite can be a challenge. But we still make the effort and try to work within each other's schedules. For example, one friend can't play until his kids go to sleep. We try to work around that and plan accordingly. Sometimes knowing those intricacies of a person's responsibilities to their relationship and to their current life and situations can really help and show them that you care about them too. It's also important to consider your friend's perspective. They aren't necessarily abandoning the friendship. It's just that their life has shifted, and so have their priorities. Romantic relationships, especially in the early stages, tend to demand a lot of time and energy. But that doesn't mean that you're not important to them anymore. I've seen the firsthand guilt in a friend's face when they fear that they put me on the back burner because of their relationship and the time that they've spent on that relationship. Trying to balance so many connections and not let anyone feel left behind seems exhausting. I know because I've been through it myself when I tried to date. So be sure to give your friends some grace as they try to find that sweet spot. Friendship is a long game. Over time, strong friendships usually survive these back and forths, including when someone enters a romantic relationship. The key is to approach these changes with patience, open communication, and understanding. Both romantic and platonic relationships can coexist. They just need a little nurturing from both sides. I hope these tips gave you some framing to work within if you're going through this kind of situation. If you've ever felt like you were losing a friend to a relationship, let me know in the comments how you handled it. And if you found this video helpful, don't forget to like, subscribe, and share for more Arrow and Ace content. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.